Oh, good. Hello, hello, welcome. Hi, Libby. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Linda?
Really good. I'm really good. And welcome everybody who's going to tune in either live or catch our replay later. I'm Linda Downey, and this is my colleague Libby Wright. And we've been chatting on Mondays pretty consistently the last few weeks about ways that we learned in our journey and the work that we do with people to improve your health, get over chronic health issues, clear things from your past. So if you're just joining us now, please say hello. This is streaming in several places, and we would love to say hello. And if you catch the replay later, definitely comment replay. And I'll tell you a little bit about who I am, and then I'll let Libby share some things about herself. So my name is Linda Downey, and I am a functional health practitioner. I'm a transformational health coach. I work with people in the spiritual aspect of their healing and their growth. And I primarily work with women who are stuck in overwhelm and anxiety and stuck in patterns, either in their relationships or in how they work, that really have them feel blocked in living the life that they love. And this is my colleague, Libby. I'll let her go ahead and tell you about herself, and then we'll dive in.
Sure. My name is Libby Wright, and I'm obviously coming to you from the road today. I'm just outside of Atlanta, going to with my family for some things. And I have been working with physicians who'd like to transition their practice from traditional medicine only to functional medicine for a few years now. And that's kind of the main thing I do. I also work with patients who have had significant health issues and chronic illness to get to feeling better and have a new viewpoint on life. I have 4 kids. I've homeschooled for about 25 years now. I'm just entering my final year of homeschooling. And my husband is a functional med physician. He was the first doctor I helped transition to practice. So that's me.
Yeah. And we should say Libby's not driving. She's in a car,
I'm not.
obviously, but she's not
My son
driving.
is driving. Yes, I'm not
Yeah,
driving.
yeah,
I'm just riding.
yeah, yeah. I know that people will maybe comment on that because
Be
I've had
worried.
that
Yes.
happen before.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, I'm just a passenger. So
yeah. Okay, great. So our topic today is, if you're going to put a whole puzzle together, you need each piece, right? You can start to fit, especially if you have a picture that you're following, you can start to get the outline together or however you do puzzles, but it's not going to be complete. You're not going to have the full picture when pieces are missing. So we wanted to share with you the pieces that we have found make the difference, whether it's your health, whether it's patterns in relationships, whether you feel blocked in your life. The pieces that we have found are so, so important and critical. And then also, we want to make sure to invite you. We have a free workshop, 100% free, later this week. It's a 4-day. We're going to limit it to about 30 minutes each session, right, Libby?
yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
And it's going to
for
be called
about
Set
30
Free this
minutes each.
summer. It's going to be all about.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
That's, yeah, it's set free this summer to really like give you some tools, some very practical tools and information to set yourself free this summer. To use the summer as a time to really tackle whatever it is, wherever it's showing up in your life. For me, it showed up in all areas. It showed up in my health. It showed up in my relationship patterns throughout my adulthood, kept different people, different faces, but same kinds of issues kept showing up. And it showed up in how successful I felt and my own joy in living my life. So wherever it shows up for you, we're going to make it accessible for you. So that's going to be, I'll make sure that you'll be seeing the link. We've already been posting it a few times, and we will make sure that we continue to post it throughout the week. All you have to do is register, and you'll definitely get the replay if you can't be there live all 4 days. So Libby, I don't know. I guess there's maybe a time delay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we'd love to have you come in, and even if you can't make the official one.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's
I can
talk
hear you
about.
just fine. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's definitely just a time delay.
Do you want to maybe pull over, Isaac?
So what we can
I
do
can hear
is,
you.
okay, good. Yeah. What we can do is just start off with, and I would love for you to put in the comments, what are the pieces that you have already worked on? Whether it's, first of all, what are you working on in your life, if you're working on anything? But if you're coming across this and you're stopping to listen, my guess is there's something in your life, somewhere in your life, that you know you want to make a difference. So what is that area? Maybe you've been divorced and you'd like to start dating again, but you don't trust yourself. Or maybe your relationship ended with a lot of betrayal and you don't want to start dating again because you really feel stuck in anger, or bitterness, or you're holding anger and you feel like it's blocking you. Maybe you just don't feel personal joy. Maybe you're like always working for other people and you kind of have lost yourself. Your marriage is fine, your family's fine, but you don't have a sense of yourself, and certainly not of joy. And maybe you are struggling with health issues. Your body just keeps telling you it's not okay. So whatever that is, we would love for you to put in the comments, what is the thing that you would most like to transform in your life? What would really make the difference? And what pieces have you looked at in order to make that happen, if any, so far? So we would love to, I'm just putting that out there. If we see the comments, we'll definitely respond, and we'll catch them later if you post them later. But Libby, what do you think is one of the most important pieces in healing or growing in any area of your life?
I think one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is recognizing that this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And recognizing that we are holistic beings, not compartments. Because very often, especially people, I'll speak to people who deal with a lot of health issues. When you are dealing with a lot of health issues, what's the first thing you always do? What are we trained to do in our culture? Run to the doctor. Get a diagnosis code, get a pill, get a shot, get a something. And I think that one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle can be just recognizing that you're a whole person, and you can't, if you just heal one side of yourself, you're going to end up being lopsided. It's like driving. The other day I was driving on the road, and I actually had a tire explode. I've never had that happen before. And It was such a weird, I was totally fine. But it was such a weird feeling driving this lopsided car. And it could not function without all four of the wheels operating correctly. And I think that's often what we have going on, whatever symptom we pick, whether it's a relationship or health or, something that, maybe it's our weight, maybe it's, a grief, whatever it is, if we're totally focused on that and we don't recognize that we are a whole person and we need to attend to every aspect of that, I think that's where a lot of us get stuck. Because if we're only dealing with that one symptom or that one issue or that one glaring thing that we think is the real issue, and we don't recognize that we need to attend to all of who we are, I think that's a huge piece of it.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Two points that Libby just mentioned, which is it's a marathon, not a sprint. So this is like we're in a journey called life. And I used to think I was going to arrive somewhere. Like when I get there, then my life's going to work out. And there is no there to get to. We have things that we want to keep addressing and expanding on and growing and healing so that the next thing's coming, we have a different version of ourselves. This is how I look at it anyway, a different version of ourselves to bring to it. So that's why it's a marathon, because as long as you're alive, there's a place to look. As long as you're alive, there's things that you're going to want to grow and expand. There's things that could benefit from some healing practices and a healing perspective. So I love that point that Libby made first. And then her second point was that we are holistic. And if you only look at one aspect of yourself, it's like spending a lot of time trying to get the car out of the mud, right? Like the wheels are spinning. You're putting a lot of effort in. You're going to a lot of doctors, perhaps, or you're going through a lot of relationships. Maybe you've been married a couple of times, or they haven't resulted in marriages, but relationships, and you put a lot of effort in, but you're kind of spinning there. It's not moving forward in the way that you want. And that's when we're not looking at all of the whole picture. So, Libby, what does the whole picture entail for you? What would be, and we're excited to offer this workshop later this week. We're going to be diving into all of these things, and it's a free workshop if you're just hopping on now and listening. Totally free, 4 parts to it to really give you some tools and information to go deeper into what we're talking about today. But Libby, what would you say are some other pieces?
Well, we've got our body, obviously. We are in this physical shell. We live in that all the time. That sometimes is the easiest thing to diagnose or deal with because it's obvious if your elbow hurts, right? I mean, like you know that. So you've got that. You've got the mind. We talked a lot last week about the inner critic and what kind of the tapes we have playing in our head all the time. If you didn't watch that last week, I'd recommend that you go back if you struggle at all with criticizing yourself or kind of having the inner critic playing all the time. So we've got our body, our mind, our spirit, which is kind of the essence of who we are, our soul, how we commune with God, how we commune with the world around us. These aren't new things. This is not my this is not my original take on it, but I think those are all really, really good things. And then just how we interact with the world around us, because I think too often we, like last night I was feeling frustrated. We had a freezer that just died, and it's 102 in Louisiana, and our outside freezer just went kaput. And I'm trying to cook all this food up before I'm leaving town, and we're just trying to take care of it. And I just remember taking a moment. My husband, just gave me a hug, and he said, the problem you think you're having is not the problem, and I don't want you to leave town feeling this way with the family. And so let's just take a moment and recognize that, like we all love each other. We all love you. We've had a frustrating moment, but so it's not even just internal with us, it's also how we're responding to our environment around us, and how well do we take that stress? How well do we take that frustrating moment? Can we keep our cool? Are we peaceful, or do we get easily triggered? And then also just the neuroscience behind how all these things are interconnected with our neurology. And I think the neuroscience is really interesting because it really kind of points to all the interconnection of all these different aspects that I've just mentioned. So that's my thought.
Yeah. And it's a great thought. Yeah. When Abby says, I'm sorry, Libby, not Abby. When Libby says neuroscience and how there's a connection there, the neuroscience connects everything. Your nervous system is the system of your neurology. It's the system of your thoughts, and then how that affects your emotions and how that affects the different systems of your body, because your nervous system is the commander in chief of all the other systems of the body. The nervous system will decide what resources go to digestion, what resources go to the immune system, how the hormones are going to work. Are they going to be balanced, or are they going to be all wonky? That's all under the command of the nervous system. And what affects the nervous system? Well, the thoughts that you're thinking. Libby before mentioned the spirit. And as a whole life coach, in my training as a whole life coach, which is the spiritual aspect of a lot of the work that I do with my clients, we talk about the spiritual heart. So not your pumping anatomical heart that moves blood through, but your spiritual heart, which is at the core of who you are. And it's also where your memories are stored. And some people will say, when they're not talking from a spiritual perspective, they'll say the memories are stored in the physical body, and they are. Your body remembers things and responds to things that your mind isn't even thinking about, hasn't even remembered for 30 years, but your body is remembering that. But when we're looking at it from a spiritual perspective, we could actually say your spiritual heart is the place where memories, like negative memories, things that had an impact on you powerfully with strong emotions, get stored in your spiritual heart. And so we need to heal that spiritual heart. And what happened, as I said, strong emotions, right? That's your nervous system. So something happens to you and you have a strong emotional response. You're really upset. You're really scared. You're really angry, whatever it is. That particular event is going to be powerfully stored in your spiritual heart and in your physical body. That's why, to Libby's point, holistic. You need to look at every aspect. So, hopefully that started to make you think a little bit, get your wheels turning, like, oh, have I actually looked at my spiritual heart and what memories are stored there? Have I actually looked at my body, not from oh, this isn't working, let me go get a pill for it, but what is my body telling me? How is my body speaking to me through these symptoms? How are my relationships an opportunity for me to see where my patterns got created and how I want to, dismantle them so that I'm actually creating a relationship that I love. So I'm very aware now that Libby, you stopped your car, right?
Yeah.
So that you could be on it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
So we don't want to take up too much of your time or Libby's travel time, but we do want to point out all of those things. And Libby, do you want to say anything about the workshop that's starting on Thursday and what people might be interested in learning there?
I think that'd be great. I think there's one other thing we just want to really make sure to touch on here, and that is that just because your story has been written to this point the way it is does not mean you have to be on a certain trajectory the rest of your life. And that's why we do what we do, because we believe, that we can always change that trajectory.
Yeah.
And so that's the purpose of what we really want to do with Set Free this summer, is help you change the trajectory to something. Because, to Linda's point, when she's talking about our spirits holding those memories, it's almost like the storyteller. And I would encourage you to ask, what stories are you telling yourself? Are they true? Are they false? Are they the story you want? Is this the life story you want for the rest of your life? I'm about a year from being 50, and it's, as I've been thinking about, my last year of homeschooling, just about to turn 50. My kids are all adults now. All these changes are happening in my life right now. I'm thinking about the fact that, okay, I have written a really beautiful story. Has it been perfect and easy? No, it's been really hard a lot of the time. But what I change, my husband often will say, even though it was hard, I wouldn't change a thing because I love who we are and I love who I am. And that's a beautiful way to see the world, but not all of us see the world that way. And so if that is not the way you see the world, or if you say, you know what, I'm on a trajectory I really don't want to be on long term, this is not feeling good to me, this is for you. This is a gift for you to help you change that path, change your neural pathways, change that holistic viewpoint of your life, and begin moving in a different direction. It doesn't have to be radically different, but even changing one or two small things. Like when my husband stopped me and gave me a hug when I was all flustered about the freezer, it just changed something, because I was like, oh wait, I don't have to be a stress ball about this. It's just a freezer, it's okay. But it was just a little tiny interruption, and what in this neural pathway my brain was going down. And that's what this workshop in a way could be for you, is a disruption from your regularly programmed things going on in your head that are telling you it has to be this way or it has to be that way, No, what if it can be something different? What if you can change the trajectory of your future? Would that be worth investing a half hour of your time every day? It's not spending, it's investing, because you're investing in you. And those are the kind of people we want to be on this program with us for the next 4 days, starting on Thursday. And we're not just going to be talking pie in the sky. We're going to be giving you really practical information, and we're going to be ending every day with a practical tool, a gift that you can start using immediately, a gift that you will use with us. We're going to practice with you before you even get off of the call. So if you're ready and open to change some areas of your life, and at the beginning, Linda, you talked about having this puzzle and maybe not having all the pieces, but I know there were times in my life that I felt like I had a bunch of puzzle pieces, but I didn't have the picture in front of me. I didn't even know what it was supposed to look like. And so, if you're also looking for that kind of wisdom, or just like, hey, help me understand how I can figure out what this picture is supposed to look like, that's also a really good reason to tune in with us.
Yeah, that is a really great point. And it's sometimes I forget that point, but I do now that you say it, I remember back when life just felt like it was so happening to me and I couldn't have a different vision. Could
Yeah.
I actually live a different kind of life? Could I actually feel differently in my life? Could I feel differently in this body? I didn't know how that looked. It never even occurred to me. I was too busy with the douche, 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 like it's
Yeah.
coming at me.
Yeah.
So that's a really great point, because you may be there going, I know I don't want to keep doing this for the rest of my life, but I don't even know what else could be possible. You just have to be open that something could be possible, as Libby said. And if that's the case, then as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to post the link for the workshop. It's, again, totally free. Just decide that you want to have some tools and start to change, as Libby said, the trajectory of where your life is going.
And I guess the other thing I just want to say, Linda, is if you're going to sign up for this, please be committed. We want you to be someone who really is at least open to changing themselves, or open to improving the way their life is. We really want to give this gift to people who are ready and willing to do the work, and ready to listen. It doesn't mean you have to do hours of work every day, but all we're saying is just please be open, be prepared to prepare your heart, prepare your mind to opening yourself up to new possibilities and new trajectories for your life.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Because if you're to that point, if you're just sort of like, oh, that sounds like interesting or good, you're kind of like, I do that. There's stuff that I come across on the internet and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. That's like, oh, I could do these 3 things and it'll lift my butt by tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to try that. And maybe I will, maybe I won't. And maybe I'll do one of the 3 and oop, my butt didn't lift. Oh,
Yes.
well.
Well, just don't do only one side, Linda, because we don't want to have things uneven.
Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Yeah. So, I get it. There's things that show up and they seem kind of interesting, or someday I'll do it, but I don't have the time right now. We're really asking for people who are like, no, I really want to have a different outcome, and I'm willing to come to 4 different sessions and hear what you have to say and take that on at least for a few days. So I meant to put the link in this description and I forgot. So I don't think I can add it now that the event has happened. I think I'm going to have to do a new post. So just look for the post. I'm going to do it right away. So they're, next to each other. And it's called Set Free This Summer, starting on Thursday for a half hour, 4 days. Because then if you really are committed, it'll take you into the summer, and hopefully people's schedules are a little more loose in terms of I could devote some of my, regular time to this summer to actually shifting some things for me. I'm not in the middle of school schedules and all of the other stuff. Summers can be a little bit more, just a little bit more, the focus can shift. So here, Teresa says, me, please. Thank you. Okay, perfect, Teresa. I'm going to look for, this is streaming in multiple places, so I don't actually really know where you're seeing this, but I will look for your comment and I'll make sure I reply to you with the link. But I'm also going to put the whole post with the link. Okay. Anything else, Libby, you wanted to say?
One last thing I really feel compelled to say is I know our audience here is primarily women, and I want to speak to you. I want to speak to the ladies in particular right now. Sorry, gentlemen, if you're watching. But look, we as women very often put everyone in front of ourselves. We take care of the kids. We take care of our husband or significant other. We take care of our parents. We take care of the pets. We take care of the groceries and the bills and the house and the home and everything else. Plus, very often working. It is very, very uncommon that we as women prioritize ourselves, our health, our sanity, our longevity, and our long-term happiness and peace. And this can be a little oasis for you to start carving out a little moment each day for yourself that can become a habit. So we can start helping you build a habit that will serve you and those you love so much. You know, oftentimes we think by being selfless, we're doing a favor to everyone, only to a point. There comes a point where, you know, when the tank is empty, there's nothing left to give. And if you are not refilling your tank, if you're not taking care of you, then there is nothing to give to those that you love and care about and you're responsible for. So I just want to encourage you that you are worth this time. You are worth this effort. We care about you. We see you. We love you. And we want to make sure you're taken care of this summer, not just everyone around you in the flurry of activity.
Really, really well said. I think we're going to leave it right there for you to chew on. And again, I will look for comments and I will post the link. And Libby, safe travels. Thank you for taking the time to be on this this live with me and share your insight and your wisdom. And yeah, so safe travels. We will see whoever's going to join us on Thursday with the day one of the workshop. So the details will be posted.
All right. We'll see you Thursday, everyone. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.